let's talk about fear. We all talk about motivation, we all talk about being our best selves and just, wow, out there. Yeah, let's be all positive and happy. But then we have to acknowledge fear. And a lot of people have this fear of failure or the fear of success, because often they think they're going to fail, but actually it's the fear of, oh my God, what if it works out? What am I going to do next? Now, believe me or not, there are people like that. So I've added a couple of articles that I've written about the fear of failure, and it's a good read, so you could supplement this video with that article. But what I wanted to talk about is that we all have fears, and those fears are subconscious. So the amount of motivation we need to give ourselves, the amount of kick, the boost that we need to give ourselves has to outweigh that fear, or we have to be logical about it. Okay, so there are multiple ways to go about it, and it depends what kind of person you are or what hasn't worked so far for you in the past. Because if you've tried to logically explain something to yourself, but then you still have that twist in your gut moment that, oh, it really scares me doing this, that means that you might want to try a different method and a different technique. That means that you might want to be doing something different with how you overcome your fears, your issues. And it's important to remember that we sometimes have a fear of the unknown. So whether it's success, failure, whatever it is, we see 5 years into the future. I've just asked you to do a 5, 10, 20-year plan. But some of us get anxiety from thinking about it because we can see something happening. We can imagine that it will happen. It's a given, or it's the imaginable thing. But we can't see necessarily each and every detailed step of how we're going to get there. And that could be terrifying and overwhelming to so many people. So I'll give you an easy example that you will be able to relate to. You have your child and it's relying on you. They're newborn. They're relying on you feeding them, on you being there all the time, on you being there day and night. And it's new. It's your first child. You think, oh, this is overwhelming. That's never happened before. This is never going to end. How am I going to ever get to this stage where they don't rely on me so much? Because you can't imagine it. You've not had children before to see that they grow up, they evolve. You see that with your own eyes, and in a couple of years' time, if not less, they eat using their own hands to do it. They start walking and talking and communicating with you differently than just by crying all the time. And you don't know that at that early stage, so it gives you anxiety. You think, okay, soon they're going to start getting out of their cot. I'm not going to be able to control them and know that if I hear a noise, that's when they're awake. I won't be able to know that they'll be able to get out, they'll be able to do something different, they'll be able to, maybe they can get out of the house. And you start building up that pressure of, what if? So stop there, because remember that there's a lot of what ifs that someone else has already done in the past. A good way to do it is to research it, to look up what others have done from 0 to 5 years, for example. Whether it's your business, whether it's what you're developing, whether it's all the worries you have, you're thinking, okay, I'm setting up my business, I have to have a website, I have to have all my social media, everything has to be done. Well, no, because everyone started somewhere, so look at not what has to be done as it's developed, but what has to be achieved. What are the key 5 steps, the top 5 steps you need to do when you're first setting up? What do you need to do? Listen to someone who's done it before. And it's the same with with your kids, with anyone else, that you learn that there's the unknown. Don't go reading everything that's available online, because you suffer from the high information diet. You suffer from trying to learn everything and just being terrified by how much information is available or how much you haven't thought about yet. And sometimes that's really not the right thing to do. So the best way to do it is to find yourself a mentor, find yourself someone who's either done this or who can guide you through it, who's ahead of you. Because it's difficult doing it on your own. It's difficult to overcome your fears. We'll do an exercise in a second that helps you figure out what your big fear is and then see how you can manage it, because it's really important to be able to manage what you know. You can't manage what you don't know. You can only try and bring it to light, but then once it's there, you can manage it. So just remember, don't get too overwhelmed with too far out in the future. Remember that we all have fears and we all can try and overcome them, and as soon as you do, it feels great.